right, cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Humble Art Corner. My name is Vicki Tsai.
And I'm Anoosha Syed.
And we are your hosts for this podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm so excited. I never thought we'd ever be making a podcast, but here we are.
Indeed, here we are. And I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
It's pretty funny because I didn't really ever think we'd be doing this right now. Like, this is so new for both of us. But like, I think it would be really great to I've been looking for a podcast for a while that kind of teaches artists on stuff like you pretty much never really learned in art school.
Right.
Because I've been working for maybe 2 years now, which honestly isn't that much. But there's so much that I've learned just by getting into work, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to share that with people.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're not experts or professionals, and we don't claim to be. But we're just two artists trying to figure stuff out in the art world and in our lives. And we think that we could offer some conversations and discussions that could be helpful to both us and to many other people who are going through the same thing and just trying to figure stuff out, because this whole art thing, this stuff it's a lot.
Yeah, and really nobody has any idea what they're doing.
You know what? I genuinely believe that now. Because before I always thought oh, everybody else out here is a professional. They went to art school, and I'm just lost, I totally believe that everybody else had their shit together. But once you start talking to other people in the community, you kind of realize and you learn that hey, everybody else is struggling with their own thing as well. And
yeah,
we're all just trying to figure it out, and why not help each other along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was always so insecure about social media is great, and that I've been able to meet so many new artists and artist friends and get a lot of inspiration. But at the same time, you're constantly bombarded by kind of other people's success, which is a good thing, but also you kind of feel that's the only part of people's lives that you see, and sometimes that makes you feel a little bit insecure and oh, I'm not doing as much as I want to be doing. But as you talk with other artists, I've been talking with you, you kind of realize wait, yeah, everyone is feeling this way. No one has any idea what they're doing. Everyone has these negative feelings sometimes, and I think it's important to kind of share these feelings. So I think our goal is to make people who are listening realize that I'm not alone in all of this, that it's totally normal to feel this way, and that we just want to spread positivity in the art community, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a really accurate point that you bring up, and also I think that's very fair as well, because we met through social media, right? We became friends through Twitter, and I'll be the first person to admit that even I had a certain perception of you based on what you would post and things like that.
Ooh, what'd you think about me?
Well, I definitely thought that you were a very, very cool person, and that you had your art game down, and that you were just out here just doing all the cool things, because you would post a lot of illustrations that you did for children's books. And so I was thinking wow, she's got this job and all these different jobs, and she's just she knows what she's doing, and she's just a pro. And I was just very, very inspired, I was wow, this is awesome. And not to say that that's no longer what I think of you. That's not what I'm trying to say.
I've ruined all of your expectations. I'm actually a trash person.
You're actually not, yeah, you're masquerading as somebody else. No, but as I've gotten to talk to you, I've learned that we have a lot of the same kind of things that we come up against, we both share certain kind of insecurities when it comes to art, and just trying to find our own space within the artist community, and the role that social media plays into that, and how to balance our lives around art as we get older and we learn about ourselves and the needs that we have, It's just like this whole balancing act of life, which sounds so dramatic, but like it kind of is,
It's
right?
true,
Like
it's true.
yeah, it can feel really dramatic at times. And so like being able to talk to you, like I've learned that you are as much of a multifaceted person as I am. And I think that's really important when it comes to social media because like you need to remember that everybody, is human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we all have shit that we're dealing with. Even if it doesn't seem like it, we do. We all do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, social media is really good at just like airbrushing your life up and like I mean like I'm guilty of this as well, just putting out this happiness and smiles and oh my god, look what I wore today, don't I look so good? Look at my artwork. Like you sometimes don't want people to know that like you're kind of sucking and failing at life. Just like fake it till you make it, right? But like you gotta remember that like this is an image that people are putting out towards into the world that isn't necessarily accurate, and it is definitely like a nice version, I guess. But like everyone is that way, and like but at the same time, everyone is still human. Everyone has like their own issues and problems in their life. Everyone has like their own insecurities, and if we're a bit more forward about it, there wouldn't be as much, I guess, negativity in this Twitter world.
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like hopefully, in the future, like as a society, we would be able to begin to reach that point. It's just that like all the social media stuff is so new and it like so quickly became a tool to be used for like marketing and for like already existing companies to just like sell things to people. But like I feel like there is a collective understanding that like a lot of social media is fake, or at least it's not the entire truth, right?
Yeah,
it's like it's
true.
Partially true. And I think that people recognizing that will, encourage us as a whole to like move toward being more truthful and like being more honest about the stuff that we share and not trying to like hide the fact that bad stuff happens, and to assume that everybody else's life is perfect. And like I recognize and think it's interesting that we are like talking a lot about social media.
That's not even like the focus of our podcast.
No, I know it's not, but honestly, art has or social media rather has become such a big part of being an artist today. Like it's unavoidable.
Sure.
What do people tell you, right? It's like, oh, like I'm trying to, start posting my art and stuff like that. Like what can I do? How can I like share my art with people? What are the like suggestions that you hear? It's like, oh, you need to get a Twitter, you need to get a website, you need to like start talking to like other people, like online and stuff like that. You need to put
it's
your
unavoidable
portfolio.
now. Like if you're not posting your stuff on social media, no one's gonna find you. Like I get 100% of the clients that I get find me through Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Like it's really necessary in this world now. Like that's where art directors find you. That's where animation studios find you. And so there is that is like a good point of social media that like you can share your artwork so much more easily now. You can like network just really, really well. It's crazy.
It really is. And like it can be kind of dangerous too when you don't really know how to like balance it with the rest of your life and you sort of like spend maybe like too much time like absorbed in social media and like thinking that that is reality when it's really not. It's like a very concentrated population of people, and it's also a very like small section of people like in the grand scheme of the entire world.
Right.
So like I've definitely fallen into the trap before where I think like the artist community on Twitter is the world. Right. And I'll be like, oh, like it's kind of tough because it's like you want to fit in, but then like that you kind of risk becoming like homogenous with everything else. And it's like, is this all that there is out there? But anyway, I kind of feel like I'm getting off track right now. So I'm gonna reel it back. I'm gonna reel it back in. Bring that line.
Talking about anyway. Anoosha as well. Just to give you a little
All right.
background on who we are. So, like I said, I'm Anoosha. I am a Pakistani Canadian freelance illustrator and also character designer for animation. I went to school in Switzerland for about 3 years and got my bachelor's in illustration from there. That was fun. And then
Sounds fun.
it was pretty fun. And then after that, I worked in animation for about a year. And then last year, I quit my job and I just went full-time freelancer, which has its ups and downs, as you know, because you are also a freelancer. And we will be talking about that in future episodes, like the cabin fever, how you network, how you just stay sane when you're just at home all day.
All things, yeah.
Time management and all that. And yeah, what about you?
Well, my name is Vicki Tsai, and I went to school at UC Santa Barbara, and I graduated with a bachelor's in communication. So I did not go to art school, but I have been drawing for a very long time, ever since I was a kid, basically. And I was lucky enough to be able to have the internet available to share my artwork, and through that, I was able to get a job right out of college working with Puny Animation on their show Danger and Eggs. I was working as a background colorist. I had no experience in that industry whatsoever, so I'm very thankful that I was able to have that position.
I am really, really proud that, like, because, like, you didn't have a formal art school education, and, like, again, power of the internet, like, you found work. It's really cool.
Thank you so much. That, like, you're making me blush. But yeah, so since then I have been working as a freelancer, and it's just been an incredible journey, both positive and negative. But I've really learned a lot, and I've made a lot of new friends, and it's just been very, very cool. Like, that's the best way that I could describe it. It's just very fucking cool.
It's really fun being your own boss.
It is. You decide everything.
But also, the negative, you decide everything.
Very much so. Yeah, honestly, there are definitely days where I just wish there was somebody who would tell me what to do.
Who would just, like, I wish there was, like, I had a, you could hire, like, a robot kind of person who to stand behind you and just be like, get back to work. I see what you're doing. You're fired. Get back to work. You know?
Honestly, cool. I feel like that would be pretty helpful in certain situations, because I do have a tendency to surf the web a little bit when I'm working. It's not good, but I do it, and I am trying to exact self-control on myself.
I have zero self-control. My work schedule is a nightmare. I'm on Twitter like 90% of the time. And hopefully that is something I can unlearn and get better at.
Yeah, I heard that you recently deleted the Twitter app.
I did.
Hey, congratulations.
I was inspired by you, actually.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You know, it really can only help you. It's not going to hurt you at the end of the day. Yeah. And, you know, just see how you feel without it. I remember when I first deleted it off my phone, I was definitely very, very tempted to re-download it, because I was like, oh, but I need to check. Like, it was like my body was like addicted. It was kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah, that was me, like, literally 3 hours later. I was like, oh, maybe I should download it back. Like, no one's gonna know. It'll be our little secret.
Right? Your brain and your hands are like, I just need to do it. But I think around like the 3-day mark, I was able to be like, hey, like, I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. And definitely, like, 1 week after, I was like, I was okay. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I don't really know why I ever felt so strongly about needing. For me. There is. I absolutely believe there is. And you can do it. You're going to come out shining.
Woo,
like a superstar. Okay. Yeah. No fear. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, should we talk about the last point? I mean, we kind of did already.
Yeah, I guess so. But to like reiterate, I came to Vicki with this idea of, hey, I want to make a podcast where where I want to be able to help people in any way that I can. I want to share just a little, whatever tiny speck of wisdom that I have. If I can, like, because I've made so many mistakes over the years, I just want to be able to, like, tell all these young kiddos, hey, don't do what I did. Listen to me, please. But also just, like, because, like, we're going to be sharing a couple of, so, like, the way that we're planning on making this podcast works is, like, alternating episodes of a discussion where we'll talk about stuff like art theft or illustration agents or how to build your brand or, like, balancing your work and your regular life. And then the next week, we'd be doing a artist interview where we invite a guest over and we just talk with them. And, like, you find out more about their life, how, like, they got to where they are. And, like, what I really wanted to focus on was, like, every artist's journey is different. Because, like I went to art school, but you didn't. But, like, we both ended up doing freelance illustration. And I originally didn't want to be an illustrator. I had no idea what that was. I wanted to go into animation. And somehow I ended up here. So it's different for everyone. And it's kind of, it can be a little inspiring or, like, encouraging for people who did not have a classical art education to like hear about another artist who's like didn't have that either, but like they still found their own success. And I think that's my goal for the interviews.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm gonna admit I'm really excited for interviews, you know, because I wanna learn more about people, you know, and the friends that we've made, and just to like see what they have gone through, you know, to get to the point where they are, because like you said, there is no one right way to get to, you know, a certain goal. That's really never been the case, and I think like realizing that will really help and encourage people, you know, especially younger artists, to embrace their own path and to feel comfortable in doing what they truly want to do. And, you know, to not feel pressured to have to do things a certain way, because I honestly think that will just like kill your joy that you have for art, which is just like, that's so sad, you know, like we don't want that to happen. So like Anoosha said, we are really just trying to impart the things that we have learned during our time, you know, working in the art industry, and to just really encourage and to create a positive space to have these discussions and to learn from each other and to, you know, try to add more happiness and love to the art community, you know. That's really what we're here to do. Oh man, that almost made me like tear up a little bit.
Me too. Like I'm like legit crying right now. It was so beautiful, Vicki.
Oh God.
Okay.
It's a crying fest.
So I think that's a good sum up of who we are and what we're doing. So thank you, listeners, for joining us. We hope to see you in our next episode, which will be a discussion on fan art, I believe. Is fan art good?
Ooh.
Is it okay? Can we do it? Let's find out.
What? Yeah. Who is she?
Who
you know,
is she?
What has she done? But yeah, that is a wrap? Question mark? Is that
I
a
think
wrap?
that's a wrap.
All right. If it's a wrap, then it's the wrap. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We hope to hear you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Art Corner. You can follow us on Twitter at The Art Corner Pod, or send us any questions or comments at theartcornerpodcast@gmail.com.
Our theme music was made by the amazing Louis Zong, and you can follow him at EverydayLouis on Twitter. You can also follow Anoosha on Twitter at Foxville_art, and follow Vicki at Vicki Tsai. Thanks again, and see you next time.